welcome in. So, you've given us all these later days delivery service crew interviews,
Right.
and it's pretty clear
Yeah.
these are not your average employee profiles.
Oh, not at all.
We're talking about, this is like cosmic road trip
Yeah, yeah.
with a whole lot of baggage.
Absolutely. Literal and emotional baggage, yeah.
Exactly.
It's like opening up like a treasure chest of confessions,
Yes.
quirky anecdotes, all this stuff.
Okay, but
Yeah.
here's what gets me.
Yeah.
Even in close quarters, like imagine spaceship, right?
Right, yeah.
You've got this whole spectrum of just like completely different experiences.
Oh, absolutely.
It's incredible.
It really is. It's amazing how distinct these personalities are.
Okay, so for instance,
Yeah.
Addie, right?
Yeah, Addie.
This pyromaniac steward,
Oh.
and she owns that title.
She does.
I was honest, I was laughing out loud 1 minute,
Right.
and then wondering if I should be sending her like a virtual hug the next.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's got this whole like Aussie slang thing going on.
The slang. Oh, it's fantastic.
It just adds to this whole like chaotic energy.
Oh, it's great. But that chaos, it's like a shield almost.
Right.
A defense mechanism, you know.
Totally. And
Yeah.
remember how she jokes about accidentally blowing things up?
Yeah, accidentally. Wink, wink. Yeah.
Okay, but you can sense
Right.
like beneath that humor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some heavy stuff.
Oh, absolutely. There's some real depth there.
Loss, self-doubt, the whole shebang.
It's all there. Yeah.
Okay. And that's where
Yeah.
this is where it gets really interesting, because this is where her bond with Tira,
Yes.
our ship's healer,
All right. The healer. Yeah.
becomes super fascinating to me,
It's a fascinating dynamic.
because she calls her, quote, a proper puzzle,
A proper puzzle. Yeah, that's an interesting way to put it.
which, knowing Tira's background as a necromancer,
Right.
makes total sense.
It does. It does. Because imagine someone who can manipulate life force.
Right.
Like,
It's a lot.
it's a heavy thing to carry,
Wow.
It explains why she's so powerful in combat,
Okay.
but also why she needs that serious downtime.
Right.
It's a demanding gift, but
Right.
but it also makes her so incredibly intuitive
Right.
about other people and their emotions and their states.
So she can just like sense it.
Yeah, she's got this deep understanding.
Okay, so
Yeah.
which probably explains why Addie feels comfortable opening up to her.
Yeah. That makes sense. They have a connection.
Right. And there's this one part
Yeah.
where Addie describes this festival she went to,
Okay.
this giant holographic dome
Wow.
simulating a star's death.
Wow. That's intense.
Okay, but
Yeah.
it's like it speaks to her artistic side, you
Yeah,
know?
right.
Like this fascination with all things fiery.
Yeah, it's beautiful and destructive at the same time.
But then it's such a contrast,
Oh, it is.
to remember some of her self-deprecating humor.
Yeah, it's like she's drawn to these beautiful things.
Yes.
But still wrestling with something, some
Yeah.
kind of inner darkness. It's
Wow.
deep stuff.
Okay, so speaking of deep, let's talk about Devin.
All right, Devin.
Because if Addie's a bonfire of emotions,
Yeah.
Devin's, I don't know, he's like this black hole.
Yeah.
Quiet,
Sure.
intense, and to be honest, a little intimidating.
Yeah, I can see that.
His interview was just like, to the point.
Mm-hmm.
No emotional fluff
Straight to the point. Yeah.
whatsoever.
Which, knowing his past, makes sense.
Yeah.
Abandoned as a kid, raised by the mafia.
Wow.
Talk about a crash course in emotional detachment. Like, that'll do it.
Yeah.
And then he goes to this prestigious academy, excels at everything.
Right.
But you get this feeling like he's always had to fight for his place.
Right. And even
Yeah.
he describes his role on the ship so bluntly.
Oh, how so?
He's just like, quote, I know my way around the galaxy and I kill things.
Wow. And
That's it.
that's it. That's all you get.
Yeah. And you get the sense that like
Yeah.
emotions are just a liability to him.
Right, like a weakness to be overcome.
Yeah. Just got to control it.
Yeah, keep it all inside.
Yeah. And that explains why he comes off as so distant.
Right, he's got those walls up,
Yes.
Probably a survival mechanism from all that hardship.
But he seems to have this, I don't know,
What's that?
like a grudging respect for Val.
Oh, interesting. Val, the chef.
Yes. Our ship's chef, who we will get to. But
Okay.
he sees her as this worthy opponent in combat,
Oh, wow.
which, considering how insanely skilled she is,
Right.
that's high praise coming from him.
It is high praise.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's so fascinating to me how these, like, shared experiences, even intense ones like that,
Right.
can create a bond.
Yeah, it goes beyond just small talk.
Totally.
Like, they're not going to be exchanging recipes anytime soon.
Maybe. You never know.
Maybe not, but there's a mutual understanding there.
Yes.
They've connected on a different level.
Okay, so from the silent brooding type
Right.
to someone who I think practically invented the spotlight.
Okay, let's hear it.
Let's talk about Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. All right, let's go.
This woman is galactic glamour.
Oh, she's all about the glamour.
Oh, gosh.
Living the high life.
She's a sorceress. She's an heiress to a coffee empire.
Wow, coffee empire. That's impressive.
And she knows how to work it, let me tell you.
She sounds like she knows what she's doing.
Oh, she does.
Yeah.
But don't let the, designer luggage and the self-proclaimed title of, quote, queen of this operation.
All right, she said that, did she?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Okay, confident.
But don't let that fool you.
Okay.
This woman is sharp.
Really? How so?
Remember how she casually mentions being aware of the power dynamics at play?
Uh-huh.
Like, just casually
Just throws it out there.
drops it in there.
Wow.
Like, this is someone who knows exactly what she wants.
Okay.
And how to get it.
She's got a plan. She's got goals.
She's not just, sipping space cocktails.
Wait, she's not just along for the ride.
No. She's got
She's got purpose.
purpose. She sees this as a way to scout new locations for her family's business.
Okay, so it's strategic.
It's all very strategic.
Smart.
Do some high-level marketing.
Okay.
And maybe have a little fun along the way. Gotta have some fun.
Of course, why not?
It's all about balance.
But, okay, beneath the sparkle, right,
Okay.
there's this, surprising vulnerability.
Really? Tell me more.
Remember how she calls Val
Yeah.
our seemingly unflappable chef?
Right. We'll get to her, but,
Yeah,
quote, the odd one out.
the odd one out. Huh, interesting.
And it's almost like she
Yeah.
sees a bit of herself in Val.
Like a kindred spirit sort of thing?
Yes.
Well,
Like someone who might not always fit in.
even though they're both successful in their own right.
Exactly.
That's really interesting that they would connect on that.
And it makes you wonder, right?
It does.
Because, you have Liz, who's this,
Yeah.
coffee empire heiress, sorceress,
Right.
galactic celebrity.
Yeah.
And then you have Val, who we'll get to.
Okay.
Totally different. And yet,
Yet they both feel like outsiders.
they both have this shared experience
It's fascinating.
of not quite fitting in.
Even when it seems like they have it all together,
Right.
it just goes to show you never really know what someone's going through.
You really don't.
Yeah.
And it just makes you realize how important it is
Absolutely.
to find those people, those connections
People, yeah.
who just get you.
Who get you, who understand.
Even if your lives look totally different on the surface.
Exactly, because those connections can run really deep.
Okay, and speaking of unexpected connections,
Okay.
did you catch that whole, love triangle
Oh, what love triangle.
that Liz spills about?
No, I don't think so. Tell me more.
Apparently Mac, our one-armed pilot extraordinaire,
Right.
has a thing for her,
What? Really?
much to Tommy's dismay.
Oh, no. A love triangle.
I know.
Ooh.
This is juicy.
Even in space, you know?
Some things never change.
Some things never change.
You've got the classic love triangle, the heartache, the drama. It's all there.
It's all there.
It's a good reminder that no matter how far we travel,
Right.
those basic human emotions,
Yeah.
they always find a way.
They always find a way.
They always come out.
So it makes you wonder, right?
It does, yeah.
How does all this, relationship drama
Yeah,
affect the crew dynamic?
that's a good question.
We've got to unpack that.
We do. We have to get into that. It's like you stick all these people with their histories and their baggage
Right.
in this, metal tube.
Yeah. Hurtling through space, and you throw in a love triangle on top of it all.
And the stakes are so high, too.
Exactly.
It's not like they could just, step outside for a breather.
Right, exactly. There's no escape. They're stuck with each other.
Okay, so it makes you wonder, how do they keep this ship running
How do they function?
with all of this, simmering beneath the surface?
That's the question, isn't it?
And speaking of keeping things running,
Okay.
let's talk about Tommy.
All right. Tommy, the tech whiz.
Yes, our resident tech expert. And I gotta say,
Yeah.
I found his interview unexpectedly heartwarming.
Really? How so?
He just has this,
Yeah.
infectious enthusiasm for all things tech.
He's passionate about it.
So passionate.
Yeah.
Remember when he was talking about the Chronotech archives on a Cynthia?
Oh, yeah. He geeked out a little bit there.
He totally geeked out. But it was endearing.
Oh, completely endearing, because it wasn't just about
Right.
seeing these old gadgets for him, you know?
It was more than that.
It's like he was traveling through time.
It's like he was reliving history.
Yes, the evolution of technology.
Exactly.
And he connected it back to something as simple as a drinking straw.
Really? A drinking straw?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. How did he swing that?
It was all about, like, how we take for granted
Okay.
even the most, like, basic technology.
Right. Everyday things.
But they all have this,
Yeah.
like, fascinating history.
It makes you appreciate the little things.
It really does.
All the ingenuity that goes into even the most mundane objects.
Totally. But then he also had this,
Kind of philosophical side, you know, when he's
Yeah.
talking about how, like,
yeah.
his work could be obsolete one day.
Right. It's that bittersweet reality of progress.
Yes.
You create something amazing, but then...
It's replaced.
Exactly. It's inevitable in a way.
And I thought he was going to be, like, bummed about it.
Right. You'd expect that.
But he wasn't.
How did he react?
He seemed, like, at peace with it.
Interesting.
Like, he used this analogy.
Okay. I like a good analogy. What was it?
He was like, on the scaffolding
Scaffolding. Okay.
in this grand scheme of technological advancement.
So he sees himself as part of a larger process.
Yes. Like, his work might not be permanent,
Right.
but it's contributing to something bigger.
That's a really healthy way to look at it.
Right. And speaking of contributing,
Okay.
let's not forget, like,
Yeah.
this guy keeps the ship running.
Right. He's essential.
He might not be, like, out there fighting space pirates,
And not on the front lines.
but he is the one
Yeah.
making sure the ship doesn't fall apart in the middle of deep space.
That's a pretty important job.
Right.
Keeps the lights on, literally.
Keeps those lights on.
Exactly.
And on top of all of that, he's got this incredible
So that's...
sense of community.
Really? How so?
He was talking about his family being, like, scattered across the galaxy.
Oh, wow. So they're spread out.
Yeah, but then he was talking about his, quote, later days fam.
Oh, he calls them his family?
I know. And you get the sense that, like,
Yeah.
he's never really alone, you know?
He's found his people.
Yes. He's got this ability to connect with people,
That's a gift.
whether it's through, like, shared interests.
Or just, like, a love of adventure.
It speaks to the power of finding your tribe.
Okay, so that brings us to Val,
Val. Okay, let's talk about Val.
our quiet one.
The quiet one, all right?
The observer. And let me tell you,
Yeah.
her interview was full of surprises.
Really? Like, what?
Okay, so first of all,
Yeah.
master chef.
Okay, we know that.
Right. But also a martial arts expert.
Hold on, why? She's a fighter, too.
Oh, yeah.
I did not see that coming.
Right. It's like she stepped out of, like, a
Yeah.
space opera or something.
A total badass.
And then she'll whip you up a gourmet meal using, like,
Right.
dehydrated space rations
Very resourceful.
and a dash of cosmic magic.
Of course, gotta have that cosmic magic.
Naturally. But the way she describes herself, it's so interesting.
Right. She's like, oh, I just kind of, like,
Yeah.
sit in the background.
She downplays her skills,
Cool.
but you can tell she's driven.
Oh, yeah.
She's ambitious.
She even admitted to, like, hating the feeling of failure.
Everyone hates failing, but she really hates it.
She really hates it. And it makes you wonder
Yeah.
if that comes from her upbringing, because
Yeah.
she mentioned it a bit and it sounded like, you know,
Yeah.
privileged background,
Okay.
but with a lot of pressure to perform.
To be the best.
Yes.
So she's always had to live up to these expectations.
It seems like it.
And maybe she's internalized that,
Right. So now it's like
Yeah.
she has to constantly prove herself,
even if it's just to herself.
and she finds that validation through, like,
Through what?
challenging herself. Right.
Okay, so it's all about pushing those boundaries.
Pushing those boundaries, whether it's in the kitchen
Okay.
or the training room.
She needs that challenge.
She does. But speaking of the kitchen,
Okay.
her account of how she joined Later Days.
Yeah, how did she end up on this crazy ship?
Okay, so apparently
Yeah.
it all started with a slice of pizza.
A slice of pizza. You're cute.
Not kidding, she offered it to Vanek.
The captain.
Yes. And he was so blown away by her culinary skills
That he offered her a job on the spot.
on the spot.
That's amazing.
Talk about a recipe for success, right?
That's one way to get recruited.
Right.
Just, wow.
But it's not just about, like,
Yeah.
natural talent with her, you know?
It's more than that.
She thrives on these challenges.
She likes a good challenge.
She talked about how much she loves
What's
working with constraints,
Constraints, okay.
like finding creative solutions
Interesting.
within limitations, you know?
She's a problem solver.
Yes.
She likes to figure things out.
And it seems like she gets a thrill out of turning,
Out of what?
like, the impossible into something extraordinary.
She's an overachiever.
She is.
In the best way possible.
In the best way possible, yes. But
What?
let's be honest, like,
Yeah.
Her perspective on physical pain,
Okay, what about it?
a little intense.
Intense how?
She compared it to, like
Okay.
the satisfaction of tedious work and grinding to achieve a goal.
So pain is like a reward to her.
Basically. Yeah. Like, I get it. The whole no pain, no gain thing.
Right, but she takes it to a whole other level.
She really does. But you know what?
Let's...
You got to admire her dedication.
Oh, absolutely, she's committed.
Right. It's like she finds this sense of accomplishment
Yeah.
in pushing past those boundaries.
She's always pushing, always striving.
Physically, mentally, everything.
Exactly, and you can see how that drive connects her to Liz.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Remember how they both talked about feeling like outsiders?
It's like even surrounded by,
Right.
all these other like galactic misfits.
Yeah, this crew is something else.
They see something unique in each other.
They get each other.
This like shared experience of not fitting in.
Even when it looks like they have it all, right?
Exactly.
Because appearances can be deceiving.
Oh, absolutely.
It reminds you that you never really know what someone's going through.
No, you don't.
So those connections, those people who just get you,
Yeah,
they're precious.
they really are.
They're the ones who make life bearable sometimes.
Okay, and speaking of connections,
Yeah.
we can't forget about Tira.
Tira, right, with her search for her birth world.
It's heartbreaking,
It is. It's like a piece of her is missing.
and she's got this incredible gift.
Yeah, this connection to life itself.
But she still feels so lost.
Rootless.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't belong anywhere.
And the way she talks about the Old Maid, her people,
Practically erased from history.
it's like a cautionary tale,
It is. It makes you think about all the stories we don't know.
Right, all the voices that have been silenced.
It makes her search even more poignant.
It really does.
She's not just looking for a place. She's looking for herself,
Yes, exactly.
her identity, her history, where she comes from.
And maybe even like a sense of belonging.
Absolutely. A sense of belonging.
It's like, as we've been talking about these interviews,
Yeah.
it's incredible how different each crew member is.
They're all so unique.
You've got Addie with her whole like fiery spirit.
Right. Always ready to shake things up.
And then Devin, stoic and strong.
A man of few words, but with a powerful presence.
And then there's Liz, ambitious and driven.
Determined to make her mark on the galaxy.
And Tommy with his love for all things tech.
Always tinkering, always inventing.
And Val, our quiet, intense achiever.
She's a force to be reckoned with.
And of course, Tira, searching for her place in the universe.
It's like they represent all facets of humanity.
Yes. And somehow they all ended up on this ship together.
It makes you wonder how their paths crossed.
Destiny, maybe?
Yeah.
Or just cosmic coincidence.
Whatever it is, it brought them together.
And created this, like, incredible tapestry of experiences.
A microcosm of life itself, out there in the vastness of space.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I think the biggest takeaway for me is this.
What's that?
Even in the vastness of space, even among a group of, like, extraordinary individuals,
Right.
it's the connections that truly matter.
The relationships, the bonds we forge.
That's what makes life, even a life traveling through the cosmos,
Yeah.
meaningful and worthwhile.
Beautifully said. I couldn't agree more.
So until next time, listeners, keep exploring those connections. Keep seeking out those shared experiences.
Because you never know where they might lead you.
And who knows, maybe we'll be back with more deep dives soon.
I'm game if you are.
Until then, safe travels.